Welcome back to another video. If you want to go from skinny to curvy, this is the video for you. Take it from me. I went from flat to hourglass fast, and I'm showing you exactly how I did it. Today, we are going over all things glute related. I'm showing you my exact booty routine in the gym and the exact workouts that I am doing to grow my glutes fast. If you are following along, make sure to comment hourglass so I know to comment and support you, and make sure to give the video a big like and share with someone who is working on building their curves. Without further ado, let's get into it. So starting right along, we are moving into the warm-up. I like to do a warm-up before any type of day in the gym or any type of workout in general. For today, we are doing glutes, so I'm starting off with a dynamic warm-up, which just means I am continuously moving while also stretching and getting my legs warmed up and ready for the workout itself. As you can see, I'm doing a variation of leg swings and different mobility exercises like squats and different hip opening exercises. This is just to make sure that I'm allowing for full range of motion. I will typically spend about 10 minutes warming up. Usually if I am implementing cardio, I will do 10 minutes of cardio as well in the warm-up, but today I did not do cardio. Alright, so moving into our first superset, we are doing unbanded skater squats and sliding side lunges. For the first workout, unbanded skater squats, this will be the heavy compound movement, and we are lifting heavy. Although I do have to say with these unbanded skater squats, you are going to notice literally it takes no weight to feel it. I was doing 15s on each side and I totally still feel it in my glutes, and it's like 3 days later. So definitely recommend trying this way out. I've also seen it banded before, where you band the free leg with a booty band, and I think this makes it a bit easier, but that's also worth a shot if you want to give it a try. And then we are going to be supersetting this with the sliding side lunges. This is to further activate that side booty that we are already activating in that first compound movement, the skater squats. So with these side lunges, you are really going to feel the accentuation on your side booty, your glutes, really pushing that mind to muscle connection. You are going to be doing this 10 times each side and then 3 sets. Alright, so once you're done with that, we're moving on to superset 2, which is the hip thrust superset. So we are doing all things hip thrust with the superset. We are starting out with the Smith machine. So I am briefly showing you guys how to set up for the Smith machine. What you want is to set up a bench horizontal and then also obviously load the plates on, and then you are going to place your upper back just below your shoulder blades onto the bench, and then you are going to obviously push your hips up. I have more videos going in depth on this if you want to check it out. I'll link them down below. But moving on, we're going to be doing this for 3 sets of 10 once again. And then after this compound movement, you are then going to move into the hip thrust circuit, which is a 10-10-10 circuit is how I like to think of it. So we're going to do 10 normal hip thrusts, no weight, then a 10-second hold at the top, and then 10 hip thrust pulses after that 10-second hold. And that will be one whole circuit. You're going to be doing 3 circuits. So 1 circuit after each compound lift. So that's just going to be a part of the superset. So yeah, sorry if that was confusing, but you guys will see how it plays out over here. We're just doing what I'm doing 3 times. Try to go heavy on the Smith machine. When I do this, I really like to aim for slow and controlled movements while also keeping it fairly heavy. So try to find that happy balance where you are still pushing yourself but maintaining good form. Alright, so moving on to our last superset, we are doing RDLs as our compound lift with crossover step-ups as our accessory movement. So for the first lift, you're going to see me grab 2 dumbbells. You can do this many ways. People do it with a barbell. People do it, I've seen it with kettlebells. You can honestly, however you would like to complete the RDL is up to you. But for this, I'm using 2 dumbbells. I am doing 3 sets of 10 of this movement. And then I am going to superset with the crossover step-ups, which is kind of a variation, which is just a variation of normal step-ups. I found normal step-ups to be helpful, but crossover step-ups I've found to target side booty way more. I've always struggled, I feel like, with my booty looking more square than round. So I've always gravitated toward workouts that work the side booty to help really build muscle around the hip area. I feel like my hips just weren't that defined. Crossover step-ups are a great alternative, and you will really feel it in your side glutes. And I also like to do this for 3 sets of 10. All right, so common mistakes to go over. The first one is I'm feeling it more in my quads than my glutes. This is a common mistake, and the reason being is mostly because of your leg placement and your foot placement and how you're distributing the weight across during the movement. For example, when you're squatting, so for example, in the movements that we've done today, if you feel it more in your quads for hip thrusts, it is because you are pushing through your toes most likely. I want you to focus on pushing through your heels instead. Another thing to really target the glutes is to think about pushing your knees outward during the movement instead of letting them cave in. Oftentimes when you let the knees cave in, your quads, I feel like, will take over. The closer the stance, the more quad activation going on. So the wider you can keep the stance, the more you're going to be activating your glutes. The next common mistake is definitely not adding weight. So if you start out with lifting 5 pounds, in 2 to 3 weeks, you should be upping the weight to about 7.5 pounds. The reason I say this is because progressive overload is so important in muscle growth. If you are not continuously placing strain on the muscles, they are not going to continuously tear and then have to repair themselves, which ultimately builds muscle. Basically, what will happen is your muscles will get used to a set weight, say the 5-pound dumbbell, and over time, the muscles will not be tearing as much and you will not be building that muscle as quickly as you had at the beginning. So my advice to you is when the weight starts feeling easy, up the weight, push yourself, continuously push yourself in the gym.
This lighting sucks, but these are my final thoughts. First things first, I think a lot of people are going to be telling you that it's not possible, and don't listen to the haters. Take it from me, I literally was flat. You saw the before and you saw the after. You just honestly have to force feed yourself, because I honestly wasn't hungry and I wasn't eating enough, and I would say that's like 90% of it. I think a lot of people, the misconception is a lot of it has to do with working out, and while working out is very, very important, I think the most major part of it is eating enough calories to actually supplement the work you're putting in. So if you're not going to fuel your body, you're just burning all these calories and tearing all these muscles for nothing. So my biggest advice is don't listen. Make sure you're hitting your protein goals and your calorie goals. Make sure you're not under eating. Make sure you're eating at a calorie surplus, if anything. And also lift heavy, because it will help you and it will pay off. And stay consistent, because if you're not consistent, you're not gonna ever stay with something long enough to actually see the results come to fruition. So stick with it, you'll be surprised. And yeah, save this video, do this workout at least once a week, twice if you're feeling spicy. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.